Ladies and gentlemen, this is Intervlog. I said, this is Intervlog, your trusted voice for news analysis, critical updates, and factual storytelling from across the African continent. Today, we present a detailed overview of a significant diplomatic development involving Burkina Faso, the United Nations, and the defense of national sovereignty. On Monday, Burkina Faso declared the United Nations resident coordinator, Flore-Smereczniak, persona non grata for her role in co-chairing the preparation of a controversial report that accuses the Burkinabe Defense Forces of child rights violations. The report was submitted to the United Nations Security Council, but, according to the Burkinabe government, it contains falsehoods, unfounded statements, and lacks verifiable evidence. In this comprehensive report, Intervlog will provide you with a neutral and factual narration of the situation, the government's reasoning, and the broader implications for Burkina Faso, Africa, and international institutions. Along the way, we will also reflect on the leadership of President Captain Ibrahim Traoré, a young leader praised by his people for his defense of sovereignty and for always placing Burkina Faso's dignity above external manipulation. The Burkinabe government issued a strong statement on Monday, expressing indignation at what it described as the UN's total disregard for Burkinabe authorities and institutions. According to the official statement, the report that was co-chaired by Ms. Flore-Smereczniak failed in several respects. It indiscriminately grouped together Burkinabe Defense Forces as though they were equal actors in the conflict, which the government considers deeply unjust. It relied on unfounded statements and falsehoods that were not backed by either credible investigation reports or court rulings. It excluded Burkinabe institutions from the preparation process, meaning the state was neither consulted nor given the opportunity to respond before allegations were sent to the UN Security Council. Because of these reasons, the government stated that it no longer considers Ms. Flore-Smereczniak a credible interlocutor and has therefore declared her persona non grata, effectively expelling her from Burkina Faso. The government reaffirmed, however, that Burkina Faso remains committed to working with the United Nations and its country teams, provided that these representatives are genuine, sincere, and respectful of national sovereignty. This development cannot be fully understood without appreciating Burkina Faso's perspective. For years, the country has been at the forefront of a difficult struggle against facing groups linked to Al-Qaeda and the Islamic State in the Sahel region. The Burkinabe Defense Forces, often working with local volunteers, have been engaged in life and death battles to protect communities from extremists. Entire villages have been displaced, schools closed, and families uprooted because of this conflict. In this context, allegations that the defense forces themselves are violating rights strike a sensitive chord. To many Burkinabe citizens, the suggestion that their soldiers, who sacrifice daily to defend communities, are being equated with appears not only unfair, but also insulting. The government's firm rejection of the report reflects this sentiment. Officials argue that while Burkina Faso is open to criticism and accountability, it cannot accept accusations that are unsupported, biased, or crafted without consultation. The United Nations, through its various agencies, plays a significant role in Burkina Faso. It provides humanitarian assistance, development support, and programs related to governance, protection, and human rights. Yet, this latest episode highlights a growing tension between international organizations and African governments that are demanding more respect, partnership, and fairness. The Burkinabe government's position is not a rejection of the United Nations as an institution. On the contrary, the statement makes it clear that Burkina Faso remains committed to collaboration with the UN. What the government objects to is the behavior of specific representatives who, in its view, undermine sovereignty, spread false information, and bypass national authorities. This distinction is important. Burkina Faso is saying, in essence, we respect the UN, but we demand that the UN respect us as well. At this point, allow Intervlog to make a parable. Imagine a farmer who is defending his field from locusts. Day and night, he works tirelessly, protecting his crops so that his family can eat. Now, imagine an outsider comes along and, without asking the farmer, or stepping into the field, writes a report saying the farmer is harming his own children while fighting the locusts. Would that not be an injustice? This is how Burkina Faso sees the report. The defense forces are like the farmer fighting to protect the field of national survival. Are like the locusts destroying everything in their path. To equate the farmer with the locusts is to misunderstand the struggle completely, and this is where President Ibrahim Traoré is praised. His leadership in this matter demonstrates not only courage, but also dignity. Instead of bowing his head in silence, he has stood firm, declaring that Burkina Faso will not accept lies dressed as truth. President Captain Ibrahim Traoré has become a symbol of youthful, determined leadership in Africa. Since assuming office, he has emphasized the defense of sovereignty, the pursuit of self-sufficiency. His decision to declare a UN representative persona non grata is not one of isolationism, but of principle. It is a clear message that Burkina Faso will not be intimidated or reduced to silence in the face of international reports that lack fairness. Intervlog sees in this action a continuation of Traoré's broader philosophy that African nations must stand tall, protect their dignity, and engage with the world on the basis of mutual respect, not subordination. As the proverb says, "The tree that knows its roots does not fear the wind." Burkina Faso, under Traoré, is demonstrating that it knows its roots, its culture, its sovereignty, its people, and therefore it does not fear international winds that blow with bias. This development also raises larger questions about how international reports are produced, how evidence is gathered, and how narratives about African conflicts are shaped. For years, many African governments have criticized what they see as selective reporting, double standards, and external interference. Reports sometimes rely heavily on secondary sources, NGOs with limited access, or individuals with agendas. When such reports are submitted to powerful bodies like the UN Security Council, they influence global perceptions, aid policies, and even sanctions. For Burkina Faso, therefore, challenging false or unfounded allegations is not just a matter of pride, it is a matter of national survival. Despite the expulsion of Ms. Flore-Smereczniak, Burkina Faso has reaffirmed its commitment to work with the UN. The government has made it clear that it values partnership with international institutions, provided that those institutions demonstrate genuine sincerity and objectivity. This reaffirmation is crucial. It shows that Burkina Faso is not turning its back on the world. Instead, it is calling for a reset of relationships, one based on truth, fairness, and respect. As Intervlog closes this report, we emphasize once again the neutrality and factual nature of this overview. Burkina Faso has declared a UN coordinator persona non grata. The reasons are clear: allegations of falsehoods, lack of consultation, and disregard for sovereignty. At the same time, Burkina Faso has reaffirmed its commitment to the United Nations as a whole. This is not rejection, but correction, a demand for accuracy, fairness, and respect. And at the heart of it all stands President Ibrahim Traoré, a young leader who, in the eyes of many Burkinabe, is steering the country with courage and integrity. As the proverb says, when the lion roars, it is not to scare the forest, but to remind the forest of its presence. Burkina Faso has roared, not out of fear, but out of dignity, and the world has heard. This is the end of our program today. See you on Intervlog, same time tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe to my channel and press the bell icon to get new video updates. Thank you for watching Intervlog. Thank you.